Mr. Investor, welcome back to the channel, baby. So today we're going to be talking about nanodimension. Nanodimension has taken a tumble from all-time highs. Damn it, the whole market's been going down. And across the last year, they've gone from penny stock territory all the way up to heights of $17.89. It's about a 21x or more. And since the market correction, we've been going down, baby, yo. But what I'm going to talk about today is what is smart money doing. Yoav also just had an interview today, and we'll talk about the unique position of nanodimension and how it can apply to all markets, as well as what CATHIE Woods is doing. If you're new around here, welcome to the channel. My name is Miguel and I look for some big juicy growth stocks, and this machine over on my left I believe is gonna be a juicy cash cow. Always remember, none of this is financial advice, it's for entertainment only. If you want to support my channel, please click the join button above my head. It's only 99 cents and it helps me create good content every single day. But if you're unable to, just you hitting like on this video means the world to me. Thank you so much. And hitting subscribe too, join the family. So the stock's been bouncing around, it's been generally going down with the market. We're waiting on news of this acquisition, we're waiting for sales, we're waiting for adoption of the machine. We're getting articles like this coming out talking about bearish momentum of the stock. However, what is smart money doing right now? Currently we have 118 institutional investors. The institutional ownership is around about 15%, and as you can see, there are positions being entered all the time by these institutions. People are buying up shares. Generally no one is exiting apart from Virtu Finance LLC. The thing is as well with these institutions is they can delay their purchases up to 45 days without reporting it, so we have to wait 45 days to see whether or not they've bought some shares. But there's been a few 100,000 shares being bought across March and April being reported. There's actually 2 million shares being bought here as well by Susquehanna International Group, and there's also some old purchases here showing up for ARKW and the Israel ARK ETF. However, last night we did see some juicy purchases when that email came in and we saw it. I often use this website called Lucid Tracking. If you want to use it, the link is in my description box below, and I use the premium version so I can track all the data. So if we open up the market orders for April 12, 2021 and we do a little scrolly down, we can see that they bought nanodimension for their ARKQ ETF, and if we click on this purchase, we come up with this page and we can see ARKQ, ARKW, and we can see the Israel ETF. And generally when we're looking at this, we can see the total shares held in each ETF. With 7.4 million in ARKQ, we can see 5.5 million in ARKW, and we can see 457,000 in Israel. It's around about 13.3 million shares, and this is worth about $97 million at the moment. But when looking at this site and looking at the data, I want to see, what is the actual weight of it in a portfolio that they've been buying in, because usually ARK goes by weight in a portfolio. It shows their strongest conviction stocks, and let's see how the weight fluctuates. So if we go over to ARKQ up here at the top, we click ARKQ and we go down to the beginning of March, just before March. So during those early weeks in February, you can see they were purchasing 2 million, 1.3 million, 2 million, 1.2 million, and a big juicy 2.4 million. They were buying all of these shares up when the price was actually fluctuating around about $15 and $14. And I think it may have been overweight in their portfolio because it was around about 2.7%. And you can see that the algorithm probably that they had started to trim. It started to trim shares. It went back down to 1.78%. And then if we go to now, when we recently started purchasing, you'll be able to see that over on the left, April 12th, they just started buying chunky amounts again. 3.3 million was bought yesterday, and ARK Invest decided to make this purchase when it was fluctuating around about the $7.50 mark. If we also look at the weights, they're constantly buying and selling in these ETFs. The weight is roughly about 1.6%, so I'm thinking that they probably want it around about 1.6 to 1.8% of their portfolio, because when it was around about 2%, they decided to trim and cut it down, and now they've been managing to buy as much as possible at this price range and to also increase the weight. So considering, I think I heard it somewhere, that ARK Invest is only allowed to have roughly about 10% of total weight in a single stock, a single company. 1.6 to 1.8% is pretty good for a company. And remembering CATHIE Woods' comments about nanodimension being just a 3D printed circuit board company and how it's broadened itself now to becoming a 3D printed technology device company, I think the growth that we've seen here is nothing compared to what could happen in the future. So on this website, I can also go to rankings. This is like a premium feature if you guys are interested. And if we go to ARKQ, you can see the rankings in terms of weight and changes in rank. So if we take a look at their number one pick in this ARQ, autonomous and robotics portfolio. We can see that within this ETF, Tesla is number 1, and the weighting for Tesla within ARQ is actually 11%. So that being said, they probably have to trim this soon, but let's see what rank NanoDimension is within that portfolio. So bear in mind that Tesla is like the creme de la creme of companies for ARK Invest. If that's hovering around about 11%, 23rd in this autonomous and robotics portfolio is NanoDimension, and if they hover around 1.6 to 1.8%, maybe even 2%, they still have decent conviction in this stock. If we go to the bottom of this portfolio, to the lowest ones, Organovo Holdings for example, they hold less than 0.05%, and the reason why they believe in NanoDimension to actually include them in this portfolio is because they believe that 3D printing is in its infancy, and if you can see here, the total market potential for both prototypes, molds and tools, and the end-use parts is around about $530 billion. So from prototyping 12.5 billion, molds at 30 billion, and end-use parts at 490 billion. So all the markets that NanoDimension is actually in, as we can see here, automotive, medical, defense, and aerospace. So within ARK Invest Big Ideas PDF, you can see here that when they're looking at the 3D printing addressable opportunity, aerospace at the bottom, this makes up a big juicy market segment, as you can see here, with just over $100 billion. The next one is automobiles and auto parts and equipment, the next segment, and with NanoDimension now broadening its view into a 3D printed technology device company, with the juicy Dragonfly machine being able to print using that patented nano silver nanoparticle ink, we could see some of these hundreds of billions of US dollars, a little bit of the piece of the market for all of these growing industries. So Yoav Stone from NanoDimension actually presented today on eToro, and you can actually watch this on Robbie G Investing's YouTube channel. He was live streaming it today. There he is, the man. We also had King Richard in here saying, "Sup Miguel, sup baby, what you saying baby?" We thought there might be a big announcement to make here. Maybe he was gonna talk about an acquisition or something like that, but we ended up not getting any announcements. What was interesting to see was he was talking about patience, and he was talking about, you know, time frames. And whilst they were discussing time frames, I thought I'd go back into the investor presentation. So in 2020 we were at stage 0, and Yoav Stern was saying that this is not really going to kick into play until about 2023. That's when they're actually going to get into MPV, which is medium production volume systems. And he's talking about NanoDimension is not a quick flip of money. They're looking to change an entire industry, and imagine they're supplying their machines and supplying their ink constantly, printing, making that cash flow money, baby, for all of these industries here. And so ARK's analysts were talking about 3D printing, and they believe that 3D printing is actually going to revolutionize manufacturing, growing at an annual rate of about 60%, from $12 billion in 2020 to $120 billion in 2025. And always remember that ARK's estimates might actually be conservative, because there was McKinsey over here. They were analyzing and saying that it could be worth between $180 billion all the way up to $490 billion by 2025. So 3D printing as an industry is actually going to blow open all of these other industries. They're going to change the way we create stuff. They're going to change the way we can piece stuff together and create innovative products that have never before been used. For example, when this news hit and NanoDimension actually helped L3Harris print those prototypes, those pieces, to be actually tested not only here on Earth, but they sent them up to the International Space Station. These radio frequency circuit boards, they're testing to see if the products can handle the harsh terrain and temperatures, as well as the other forces out in space. The harshness of space is a true test of the material's durability, which could lead to the development of applications in future space missions. Also, this article by Morgan Stanley states that the revenue generated by the global space industry may increase to more than $1 trillion by 2040. So imagine you're creating and helping that industry to grow. Obviously, they're going to grow as fast as possible. They're going to try and gobble up as much revenue as possible. They're going to be carrying out all these space missions, innovations, trying to reach other planets, as well as build out innovative systems such as satellite systems, which are going to change the way that our world works. When ARK continues to buy these at $7.30, what do you think NanoDimensions could become? What do you think the stock price is going to be worth? 2023 is what they're predicting when they finally get into that medium production volume. But if you're like me and you hold stocks for maybe 5 to 8 years, what do you think it's going to become in years to come? Tell me a prediction by 2030. Lastly, I want to say thank you so much for watching, and if you're able to join, click the join button above my head. It's only 99 cents a month, and you really help me and my brother create great content. But if you're unable to join channel memberships, just you hitting like and clicking subscribe is enough for me. Thank you so much, and I hope we hear some news of an acquisition soon. I hope we see some juicy sales across the end of this year, and I wish you all the best. Always remember, this is not financial advice. Thank you so much for watching. Mr. Investor Lot, over and out, baby.